Surface dressing, or tar, spray and chip, as it is also known, has a long history. However, it unfortunately carries a number of negative issues in the perception of many. To some, it is misconceived as a cheap and nasty process, which produces a noisy surface, with loose chippings resulting in complaints about cracked windscreens and a surface which is prone to fatting up in hot weather. However, the truth is that this negative perception is out of date. Surface dressing is still the lowest cost means of sealing and so extending a pavement's life. It also remains the most cost-effective means of restoring depleted skid resistance. In the modern surface dressing operation, robust binders, which feature the characteristics of good cohesion and relatively low temperature susceptibility, are now predominantly used. 10 years ago, almost 90% of the binders used were unmodified cut-back bitumen, or K170 bitumen emulsion. Now, over 80% of the binder used is polymer modified. Polymer modification improves the cohesion of binders and reduces the temperature susceptibility. These characteristics make a significant contribution to the performance of surface dressing because improved cohesion assures better retention of chips under stress. In essence, surface dressing is a very simple process, but it is one that requires careful attention to detail. The 5th edition of the TRL Road Note 39, published in 2002, provides a sound basis for surface dressing design and is a contributing factor in the improving performance of surface dressings. In 2003, the Road Surface Dressing Association, with support from the Highways Agency and the County Surveyors Society, commissioned the University of Ulster to investigate tyre noise on surface dressing and to develop a design methodology to produce dressings with an improved tyre noise performance. The resultant research showed that it is possible to design dressings with much improved tyre noise performance, and the design to achieve this is based on Road Note 39 and is published in the RSTA Code of Practice. Good training of the workforce and professional technical supervision is essential underpinning for a process where careful attention to detail is vital. For this reason, the RSTA commissions training courses for these specialist operatives, together with courses for technicians on the latest developments in the design and supervision of surface dressing. Higher standards have demanded sound quality assurance systems. For this reason, the trade, including many direct labour organisations, are committed to the Sector Scheme 13A. The adoption of national highway sector schemes is now the best way for highway and roads authorities to incorporate both quality assurance and workforce competence into contracts. Improved materials, utilisation of the latest technology, and the improved professionalism of the workforce. These 3 factors have all contributed to an overall improvement in performance. The Road Surface Dressing Association surveys the performance of its members' work on an annual basis. In the early 90s, a 5% failure rate was considered acceptable. In 2004, the success rate was 99.5%. Recently, large increases in the cost of hydrocarbons and reports such as the Capita-Simmons report on the sustainable use of high-specification aggregates for skid-resistant road surfacing in England, carried out for the Office of the Deputy Prime Minister, are putting emphasis on the importance of sustainability in maintenance and new construction. Surface dressing has the potential to play a major role in construction and maintenance plans for the sustainable use of finite resources. As a wearing-coarse surface dressing will seal the pavement and provide skid resistance with much less demand on those same valuable resources. The TRL estimate that racked-in or double dressings need to be replaced on 10-year cycles, and asphalt at 18 years. So even accounting for its shorter life, surface dressing will use less resources. Furthermore, surface dressing is a cold process and requires less energy for installation. In maintenance, surface dressing is best used as a preventative seal to extend the life of the pavement. When eventually fatigue requires major repairs or reconstruction, surface dressing can be planed off with the pavement and recycled into the replacement pavement in either one of the cold recycling systems or through a hot mix asphalt plant. Where a cold recycling system is used, either foam bitumen or emulsion-based, surface dressing provides an excellent wearing surface to permit the early opening of the pavement to traffic. In modern times, surface dressing has primarily been used as a maintenance tool, but with the current improvements, it could now have a role in new construction as well. In eastern and southeastern England, aggregates are transported large distances, consuming a considerable volume of hydrocarbons, adding to CO2 pollution and traffic congestion. Using existing technology, it would be possible to develop pavements using the native aggregates in the structural element. This would restrict the use of imported high-specification aggregates to a surface dressing wearing course to provide skid resistance. Hydrocarbon cost inflation, sustainability and financial strictures such as Gershon require a fundamental rethink of how the highway asset will be maintained and developed in the future. It's now time for a total rethink on the positive attributes of surface dressing into the new century.